Alright, I made a video yesterday about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer leak, and in that video I did say that it was probably going to drop around 9 or 10, and in fact it did. Now there's probably hundreds of videos out there talking about 10 things you missed in the new Spider-Man trailer, and they got some clickbait of, you know, like a green circle with a red arrow pointing at the circle around a specific picture in the trailer. That's not what this is. It's not a trailer breakdown. It's a breakdown in the sense that I'm breaking down what I liked from the trailer and what I'm looking forward to, but I'm not clickbaiting you. I'm just gonna go through this trailer. I'm gonna talk about a couple of things that got me really excited and what I'm really looking forward to seeing. Alright, you guys most likely just want to see what I have to say, so you know the drill. Like, subscribe, just do it. Okay, let's get into it. Alright, let's start with something simple. You know, 20 seconds into the trailer, we get Spider-Man zipping around the city with MJ, and you see all the Times Square billboards of J. Jonah Jameson already talking about how Spider-Man is a menace and public enemy #1. It is just so great to see that J.K. Simmons is back for this role. You know, J.K. Simmons is so iconic as J. Jonah Jameson that I honestly think you gotta put him into categories like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Heath Ledger as Joker. There's just something that J.K. Simmons does for J. Jonah that is just so iconic and lovable and funny and awesome. It's just so great to see that he has accepted this role to come back. Then the 25 to 30 mark in the trailer is really interesting because that's when Peter is getting interrogated by the cops, essentially saying that he is the one who killed Mysterio. He's pleading his case that he didn't kill him. The whole world knows he's Spider-Man now. And there's a man in a white suit and a black tie. You don't see his face, you just see him walk into the interrogation room where Peter is. And then about 2 shots later, you see that same man with a bunch of files and slams them on the table in front of Peter. That is 100% Daredevil. And yes, Charlie Cox. A couple of months ago now, I want to say maybe 4 months ago, I could be wrong, but I did put out a video about how Daredevil was apparently going to be in this movie. Now, I do love the Netflix series. I think the Daredevil show was so good. It's got much more of a darker vibe, and you know me, I like DC more, and DC gives me more of that darker vibe, so Daredevil gave me that, and I'm just so glad that they're not just throwing away the Netflix series, and that Charlie Cox will be reprising his role as Daredevil, and this fits perfectly because he is a lawyer who will probably be assigned to Peter Parker's case. Now, will we see Charlie Cox suit up as Daredevil in this film? I feel very 50-50 on that. There's a piece of me that would be really surprised if we didn't see him as Daredevil, but there's also another piece of me that wouldn't be surprised if we didn't and we just simply see him as Matt Murdock. Regardless, it's great to know that he is in this movie. Alright, let's jump about halfway through this trailer so far, and this is when Peter does ask Stephen Strange to execute the spell that will make the world forget he is Spider-Man. My Marvel knowledge is not up to par with DC's knowledge because I do know a lot about DC, but I do know enough about Marvel that this did happen in the comic books. I'm pretty sure it's just after Civil War when Spider-Man himself chooses to demask himself and show his face to the world. After that point, I believe he decides that it was a mistake and he gets Doctor Strange to complete this worldwide spell that makes everyone forget he was Spider-Man. In this trailer, they depicted that Stephen Strange is very concentrated. He can't be distracted while executing this spell, and Peter's like, you know, oh, there's a couple people who can't forget that I'm Spider-Man. You know, there's Mary Jane, there's my friend Ned, there's Aunt May, and they make it seem that it is his distraction that caused Stephen Strange to screw up and create this rift in the multiverse. I don't think that is the case. I do think there is more to it. I do think it would be a little weird if a supreme sorcerer like Stephen Strange was getting distracted by a kid Peter Parker who wants certain people to remember his face as Spider-Man. I mean, I know it is a worldwide spell and it probably takes a lot of concentration, but I think there is more to it, and I think there is a real reason why the multiverse gets screwed up. Not to mention, where are we here with Loki? Has Loki already already happened? Has that multiversal event already happened before this movie? I don't know if we have an official timeline on what is going on here. So around the 2:10 mark of the trailer, you see that part where Spider-Man is sinking into the city and the city's like encaving on itself, and Doctor Strange is following him through, and then about 2 shots later, you see them fighting on a train, and Spider-Man is getting encased by other train carts. I'm wondering if they're actually fighting each other in these specific scenes. I wonder if Doctor Strange isn't the main villain of the movie, of course, but maybe there are parts where he does somewhat act like the villain. Maybe, and with what's going on in Marvel right now with their multiversal event, there's variants, right? So is there a way that this is a variant of Doctor Strange? Did this spell screw something up? Is it a different version of him? Is he under some sort of mind control or spell due to the spell he tried to put onto the world to erase their memories of Peter being Spider-Man? I think there's just so much going on that we don't fully know and can't really know. I mean, the leaks speak for itself, and I do know quite a few leaks about what we are going to see in this movie. One thing I actually don't know though is the deal with Doctor Strange. I don't know what is fully going on there and if he will appear as a villain, because something about these scenes don't make me think they're working together. Not to mention, right after that scene, you do get another scene of Doctor Strange punching Peter's astral form out of his body, separating Spider-Man and Parker. And in that scene, Spider-Man is holding some sort of cube. I don't know what it is, but it definitely looks like for a specific reason they might be on opposite sides for a little bit. Maybe not necessarily villains to one another, but maybe more so just different ways of thinking that make it look like they are against each other. Now, there is actually one specific leak I do think this could be connected to, and because I know not everyone wants things spoiled, and certainly me, not everything I want spoiled for myself, I'm not gonna get into it. Now, this is where a lot of interest starts to kick in, because at 2:26 in the trailer, if you pause it at the perfect timing, it looks like some sort of creature is clawing down some sort of wall or door, and Peter turns behind him and looks at this thing, and it's so brief. You don't know what it is, but I'm wondering if it is Lizard. It is clear to me that this movie is trying to create some sort of multiversal Sinister Six. Villains from Tobey, villains from Andrew, villains from Tom. But I don't know if it's Andrew Garfield's Lizard. I mean, if they want to mess around with the multiverse, it would somewhat make sense. Or maybe this is a brand new Lizard that comes from the MCU. Who knows? But I'm pretty sure that's Lizard. And literally a second after that, you see Spider-Man in a black suit covering himself from electricity that strikes the ground and just blows up dirt in his face. But what's interesting about this is we all know that electricity is Jamie Foxx's Electro. Now, to add on to the interest of that is when we see Jamie Foxx's Electro in the second Amazing Spider-Man film featuring Andrew Garfield, he is blue with blue electricity, and that's the version of Electro they used in the Ultimate comic book series. But the original Electro does use yellow electricity, so I wonder if they are changing his appearance or his powers in some sort of way. If this trailer is any indication, it may look that way. Also, I have seen a lot of people say that that dirt and sand is actually Sandman, and I have heard things that the guy who played Sandman in number 3 is back for this movie. At this point, should that be surprising? No, not really. I do think it's a little of a stretch because of how the dirt and the sand, if you want to call it, in that frame there is kind of moving. It seems like it's being affected by the electro lightning and not moving on its own, but pause it in the right area and it does kind of look like a head or a body is being formed. I don't really know if there's any way to know based off of this trailer right now, but once again, I would not be surprised if that is Sandman. See, this is the thing about this trailer is by the end of it, it's just firing on all cylinders. The frame right after that one, literally not even a second later, you see the classic pumpkin bomb from Spider-Man 1 used by Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin roll right into the shot. And not only do you see the pumpkin bomb, you do hear Willem Dafoe's classic Green Goblin laugh. enough. But I gotta say, if there's anyone other than Tobey and Andrew that we are all excited for, we are most excited for Willem Dafoe to come back as Green Goblin. I think Willem Dafoe is another actor who deserves a spot in some of the best portrayals for villains or superheroes of all time, because his Green Goblin is so sick, and I can't wait to see the first official image of him, or to just simply see him in the film. And speaking of classics, you can't forget Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus. He's even wearing nearly the exact same outfit he wore in Spider-Man 2. First of all, the digital de-aging looks really well done here, and it feels so good to see how they're already respecting what came before. They're respecting the classical Tobey Maguire movies, because honestly, and you know, I'm someone who grew up with Tobey Maguire's movies. Those Spider-Man movies are just so classical and so original, especially 1 and 2. I just don't have much words, especially when I saw the end of this trailer. I mean, I already knew this was coming, but to really just see it, it's like, wow, I can't wait. And I know that's most people's reaction right now. It's nothing new to people, but man, is this ever gonna be so epic and so exciting. Just to see 3 Spider-Men on screen, but not only that, to see Tobey Maguire come back, a fan favorite, someone we all grew up with, and honestly, say what you will about the movies, but Andrew Garfield deserves a place in this too. Well, with this being said, we only have 3 months to wait until we actually get to see this film. I don't know with how short the time is if we will be getting another trailer, and even if we do, I don't think they want to risk anything by spoiling any Tobey or Andrew, even Willem Dafoe at this point. I think the way they see it is seeing Alfred Molina come back as Dr. Octopus was good enough for us, and they probably want to save everything else as a secret, even though it's not much of a secret. We all know it's coming. But anyways, everyone, that is it for this video. And if you have seen this trailer, which I assume you have, that's why you would all be here, I hope you all enjoyed it, as I'm sure most of the world has enjoyed it. Just another 3 patient months to go, and until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.